Okay, today we're going to not do a video on a 980 SSB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're not doing a video on this at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can hear things. 1, 2, 1, 2. But this is not the radio we're going to do a video on. But what we are going to do is we are going to wire up an as new Leeson TW232 onto a 980 SSB. Look how clean this thing is. It's crazy. It really is. I mean it's not new, like, you know, there's new in there, but it is so close to it. It is just really nice. Okay, so this was obviously wired up for Cybernet. Why do I say Cybernet? Because have a look at this. The little slot is down the bottom here. So looking from the back, we know the top left is receive, the top right is the common, the yellow, which is the bottom right, is the modulation, and the green is the transmit on the bottom left. Okay, so that's looking from the rear, and obviously that changes when you look from the front. So we know when we look at something like this and we're going to wire up a mic and we do our little cheat sheets, we know pretty much straight away what some of the standard wirings are, so we don't really have to, you know, think too much. By the way, a little trick that I do, I don't know what you're like, but I used to be forever losing these little screws. So when I take a screw out, I put it back into the plug immediately. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but trust me, if you do like I've actually just done here, because I haven't pulled this to bits. Oh, actually there is a screw sitting there. I thought I'd taken this one out. But things like this don't work well. Trust me, they go missing. That's off one which we had a broken plug. Now, I need to find a little container, which is called, put it on top of the bird meter for the moment, and don't lose it. But I need to have a little plastic bag. Wouldn't it be nice to have full of those things? Okay, so we know what that is. So what are we got to be careful of with a 980 SSB? Well, if we look at our little mud sheet, don't worry about my scratch and scrawl. The only thing to be extremely careful of, 6 volts, pin 6 is the 8 volts sitting on there. That middle pin there, which is pin 6, and you can sort of see when you look at the plug. Is there enough light here? Hang on, sorry, might be a bit better. You can see the pinouts on the plug there. The middle pin is one to be careful of, because you can cause an internal short in the radio very easily. It blows up a little regulator. And I'll show you what we do when we know we're doing a mod like this and we're not going to need that pin. We butcher the plug a little bit, but there's a reason for that, because it means nobody can make the same mistake. Some people may say, okay, well, hang on, but why don't you use the 8 volt feed? It's close enough to 9 volts up here. Generally, with a lot of radios, you won't have enough wires to do it. Secondly, you are then going to have to take what is a very standard microphone and do some stuff inside to it. A lot of people, collectors, do not like it. They get all warm and fuzzy about the fact that the, you know, lock bar works and everything's nice, and, you know, it's got its obviously its cover on the back, etc. But you tell them that then we've modded it and we've done a slight little system where you won't have to worry about putting a battery in it anymore. Oh, yeah. Me, I might sort of do the mod, but no, I always respect that, you know, collectors are collectors and they want very genuine sort of things. Anyway, okay, so let's just see how this is going to go. I'm curious to see how this is going to sound on a 980 SSB, and I've got some reasons for that I'll maybe say later, but we'll see. Okay, so let me get some wires off this one here, get this one here broken down, and sometimes you can get lucky and it's exactly the same back surround. Don't get fooled though. There are a couple of variances that can happen. I've seen a slightly smaller screw than this, believe it or not. It's a different thread. Haven't seen many, but I've seen a few. So sometimes it just pays to pull the whole lot off and, you know, just redo the whole thing. Okay, so what I was mentioning before, if we know for sure that this plug is going to stay on this mic and that's what it's for, we're not going to do any mods to it, etc., etc. And someone may at some stage, you know, pull the lead and maybe try to wrench it out, and let's say the what would be the ground on pin 5 on these, so what's pin 5 over here, but let's say you wrenched it and for some reason the cable just got itself tied up. Maybe someone didn't solder so well, too big a blob, and it hits that 8 volt. Well, regulator goes in this thing. So what we do is, I can't really do that, I'll show you, hang on. So basically pin 6 is no more. Now, we do it to the point where pin 6 actually could be reactivated. We could solder a blob on the end of it if we really needed to, but it just gets it out the way. Nobody can make a mistake with, if someone might get ambitious one day and think, oh, I'm going to rewire this or do something else using this plug on this radio. Well, there's no way they can muck up generally the 8 volt line. And look, it's just one of those precautionary things we do. These plugs are cheap. I think we buy them out of I don't know, $7 or $8 or something. So it's no big deal. They're not expensive. Maybe 10. I don't know. I'm trying to remember where we got this from. To be honest, I'm not the best spare parts person as far as pricing. I just buy lots and lots and lots of stuff, and generally a big bill comes in, so I never know exactly what anything is because I'm shocking at paying attention. Okay, so basically we can now wire this up, and we know that we're going to use on here. We're going to use pin 1, pin 2, pin 3 and pin 5. Now the same could be said for pin 4, by the way. They feed mic audio out on pin 4. Now if you really want to, I have no objection to saying, well, hang on, let's do the same to pin 4. Now I don't think I can do this with one hand. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to... I think I'm going to put the camera down a second. Oh, hang on. Yep, there we go. Alright, so what have we done now? We've made sure that, and by the way, you have to bend a little bit over, otherwise the pin will fall out. So I'll do that in a second if you still want to be able to reuse it. But now we've stopped the potential of doing an audio IC or a regulator. So with the audio outline that comes out of here, which you're never going to need on a Leeson, is isolated. The 8 volt line isolated, gone. And the thing is that it's very clear now that you've only got a 4-wire connection for what we said was 4 wires. 1, 2, 3 and 5 are the only connections that are needed, and luckily we have 4 connections here. Obviously they common up the braid shield, sorry, with the I'm not sure this is focusing properly, to be honest. I think it's a light. With the blue, so yeah, just remember that. You'll see this a lot with Leesons, so it's always the blue and the shield, so they go together. Okay, so we've just done a very quick hookup on this. You can always go back and tidy up. You initially want to know if it's working, and so basically, as we said, we've got the yellow down the bottom here. Now just take notice, this is looking at the back of the plug in the radio. So remember this, or look at this video often or something, but when you're doing a Bearcat 980 SSB, this is your wiring. This is your mic element here, okay. This is your receive line here. This is your transmit line here. Blue and shield is your pin 5. Sorry, what I should be saying, let's do this again. Pin 1. Pin 1 is your modulation. In this case, on a Leeson, is yellow. Pin 2 is the receive line, which is a red coming off the Leeson. Pin 3 is TX on the green, and then pin 5 once again is shield and the blue wire. Now, with the you might say, why hook up when the radio receives? And isn't it funny, you actually, when you look up the chart on there, it actually does designate it as a receive line. So I'm not 100% sure why they do that, because it really doesn't need it. It would work just as well without that line on there. Anyway, for the sake of it, no big deal, can go on there. And look at that, we still haven't lost a screw anywhere, so that's good. And we know we've got a screw sitting in this one here. All we're going to find out now is, after doing this wiring, and I've just got to clean this up anyway, and yeah, I always tack everything on just to say right, and then I clean it up. But we'll just find out if that's going to fit on that back shell, and I think they do on this pretty well. But anyway, all right, I need 2 hands. Back in a sec. Okay, so now we've got we know the back shell fits okay, and tidied up all the wiring. All looks very nice and neat. The next thing to check is to make sure that when you all put it back together, when you put it all back together, I don't know what I said then, it doesn't or hasn't bent a pin over or done anything or is touching the outside of this here. And if you've got some sloppy soldering, that can happen. The round bit of plastic that was inside there, you slide over those contacts to make sure it can't get to the case. Often you'll find that's not there. And I haven't tested this yet, so if it goes squeak and does something wrong, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, not embarrassing. You know me, I always show you. I couldn't be bothered editing, so if we get it wrong, we'll always show you why we got it wrong and how to fix it. All right, and the great thing here is we've got a totally usable 4-pin plug that can go back into the bay, and to be very honest, actually, I might actually put that in the box with the lease on. And the reason for that is that it's what it originally came out with, and whilst it's nice to put that back into stock, I think I'll chuck it in the box with the lease on, because it's there then if somebody ever wants to put it back to how they came out with 4-pin, and you never know. Okay, let's get rid of this little plug here, and we'll give it a test. Okay, so we'll get our plug that's going to be going back into the box over here, and our beautiful lease on that now drives this thing incredibly well. Look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Now I'm turning it down here, so we've got a control here to be able to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. They get a little bit echoey almost once you've got that right up. You'll find that it doesn't take a lot of drive off these, so they have a lot of drive on these things, and they're they're a great microphone. One of the favourites of mine for years. Although, if you said what's your absolute favourite, sorry guys, I'm a Turner guy. If you really came down to it, I'm more a Turner guy. But I tell you what, if you said to me, what do my mates and general collectors and people I come across in the industry like more, the Leeson by far, and that's why they're commanding such big values, especially when they're sitting in boxes, etc., etc. But finding a good one is getting hard. Now, the other thing too about a Leeson is always check that the lock bar works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Actually, that radio is just off a little bit. 1, 2, about 100 hertz off, I reckon. Oh, not even that. No. 1, 2. Let's turn that level down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See how I can change the drive there? Now, that drive there, I'm actually, not giving it a lot of drive, but you can see you don't have to run the Turner flat out. The Leeson flat out. It can be actually a nice rag tube microphone, but of course once you start, hang on, just moving some gain up like that, you really are starting to talk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and we're really talking some drive. And you can see it on the Crow when I take that back there. 1, 2, 1, 2. Where's my builders going? Oh, he's going to pick up steel. I know where he's off to. It's all right. It's one of my builders going. I was just thinking, he can't go yet. And this is how we, keep an eye on the property. We could sort of see what's happening. And there he goes. We just gave him the go-ahead to do stage 2. I wasn't sure if I could afford stage 2, to be honest. A little bit of good news. And look, those that know me well know that I'm not actually rich, that none of that is true, and I often run things close to the line. I know I give the impression that it's all very easy, but sometimes that last Corvette I bought, I was getting, I've got a lot of money out on a lot of things right now, and I thought, this is not the time to be spending, the money I was spending on that Corvette. And to give you an idea, no, it wasn't under 100. I wish it was. Anyway, but my Blue Mustang has sold to a great guy, and you know what? I don't want to sell my Blue Mustang, but I'm just out of space with not just cars I've got, but I've got something else coming in that's very, very special. It's just being worked on in Sydney at the moment. They're just upgrading the 2 new turbos on it, and it is a very collectible, interesting piece of machinery. Rolling art, I call them. Anyway, all right, well, that was the good news that yes, I'm using a little bit of that money off the Mustang to do another extension on the back patio. So I only sort of thought I was going to go ahead with half of it for now, and maybe, you know, I just wanted a bit of I've got different reserves I can go to and locked in things, but I didn't want to break any of those, and I thought, no, just going to have to be patient. But anyway, but to be very honest, I am definitely, you'll see me on a no spend for a while, and that'll be Samantha who will be controlling that. Trust me, she is honestly, she's one of the most patient people I've ever seen. All right, so that's it. Lease on, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. That's how to wire one up, and you know, as you can see, not difficult to do. And so I'll just show you again on here. I'm just going to put the lease on top of the radio actually, so I can just get this. I'll just have to be able to get closer. That's it. All right, so when we're having a look at a lease on, I've got that turned down, right down, right down, right down. Now have a look at that. I'm bringing it up, and I'm obviously getting a bit more power. Where I was there, I was just PEP down a little bit. I'll bring that back a bit so you can see both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Now you watch as I bring the gain up. Man, there's a lot of gain in there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's full blast there, which is too much. 1, 2. But you can see, if I get rid of this reverb here, just so that you're not hearing it, it's confusing the crow at the moment. So let's take it down a bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Very nice. Just, you know what, this would be lovely rag chew audio. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. As you can see, we're starting to really drive. And then we're starting to sort of flatten off in some areas. So, you know, full blast on this radio is pushing it a bit too hard, of course, and it always will be on a lease on. But there you go, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nice waveform actually. Even pushing it extremely hard. You know, not too bad. Really, yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, this is the guy who's normally a Turner fanatic signing out, because I'm convinced that you know. These are still a very, very good mic, and if you get your hands on one, hold on to it, because as I said, they're not getting any cheaper. Get in the practice too when you're going to wire up a mic. Look, some of this I know off by heart, but I still double check what I remember. And look, some of that's because I'm on a few drugs that honestly, they can affect my memory a little bit lately. So I do. I go and check my details. I check the pin out on this radio here. Now this, I'll always know that pin 6 is the 8-volt line in the middle. It's just something you know. But I'm never going to remember 1, 2, 3, and 5. I'm probably going to mix those up. So quickly doing a little chart for it. Now, as you saw, I did a Cybernet translation very fast on this. But if you don't have your knowledge of Cybernet unit and wiring off the top of your head, then put your multimeter on there. And all you're basically going to do is... well, I'll show you very quickly. Just actually, it's worth showing you this, because let me just get set up. I'm going to wish I never said this. On the 4-pin plug, it would have been a lot easier. On the on here, on the 4-pin, of course, your probes fit straight in, and very easy to give you a illustration. So I'm going to do something. I'm just going to have to be able to balance things here a little bit. Hang on. Let me get set up here. I think I can still do it. After fiddling about and thinking these are just a little bit too large, I went to my new stock. I've got new crows in stock and a whole lot of new multimeters and things. And of course, I found in my stock here, hang on, I reckon they'll be okay. Let's have a look here. These little fellas, and have a look at these. You want to be careful. These, you want to keep they are small. And they're pin-pointy, and they can be terrible if you knock them into your fingers. Right, now, I've got my multimeter set in my beep mode at the moment. By the way, this Siglent SDM3065X, one of the best meters I reckon you can buy for the money, about $1,000 or so, a bit more. This came from VK3CM, Alan Meredith, great mate of mine. I reckon I paid about $1,000 second hand. I think they're about 14 or something like that. But seriously, great investment. Okay, the reason you're hearing a beep at the moment is because my probes fit, which is good. So what we've done, our common is on. Hang on, put that there. Common is on pin 5 that's down there, and all I'm doing is I'm going over to the receive line with the microphone in receive and saying, right, there's my receive line. Now, when I take that probe out of there, and I come over here, I'm now going over to the TX line on pin 3, and I'm keeping the common in the same place. Look at that. So it's really not hard to work out a mic's wiring with a multimeter. Now, what you'll end up with generally is you'll know the shield, you'll know the transmit line, you'll know the receive line. Generally, you'll find that, okay, so what's left over? Often it'll be the yellow, which will be your mic line. Now you can, hang on, I'll show you. So what I've done now, I've said on the shield, we're on pin 5, we want to know the mic. So to find out which wire was the mic, we can tell straight away. Everything else is a short circuit. Look at that. There's 1.5, I'm sitting there, and you watch. We're looking at the insert at the moment, and then we're taking that off there, overload, etc. Don't worry about that so much. But so it'll be the odd one out straight away that can tell you. The other thing to check as well, if you end up with, say, in the case of Lissons, where you've got the bring this over here, where you've got the blue wire that commons up with the shield, often you'll find when you meter that the shield and the blue were common anyway. So I can't show you that because they're already commoned up on this plug, but it just, yeah, so just some little 101s on how to, to check if you've got no plug on it and you need to check, just meter your wires. Obviously I've got a plug to put this into, but in the sense, if you've just got wires there, just run a crocodile clip from your meter. On the black, you'll be putting this onto the shield initially, and then start probing around with transmit, receive, etc. With your microphone, and you'll work out which is the receive line with your ohm meter, which we go back over here, sorry, and you'll be able to see very fast that there's the receive line, there's the transmit line, and then by process of elimination, you'll work out, in this case, that the yellow would be your modulation line. Often the yellow is actually when you actually bring your lead back, take the sheath off, you'll find that the mic audio line is always the line that's actually inside the braid. So just something to be wary of, that that's the other way of checking. I've seen some funny wiring where sometimes that's not the case, but generally 99% of the time you'll find that's the case. All right, well, I just thought that was interesting for people who might want to wire up a mic that they don't have all the information that I know about this. That the fact that I can look at the back of a plug of a 4-pin plug and say, oh yeah, that's Uniden, or that's Cybernet wiring. That to the point where I can tell you, I can look at it and go, oh yeah, no, they had that on a Kenwood 120S. 4 pins I'm really good on, because I had to wire up, the joys of being an apprentice, I had to wire up so many mics when I first started. People don't know this, but I didn't start at Jensen's for work experience. I actually was at Electric Bug, and the first job that Phil Pullum gave me at Electric Bug was 500 microphones from Benelec. Every one of them had to have, I think they were Jacksons or something, before Benelec even started putting their names on them. Every one of them had to have a receive mod done. So basically these microphones didn't have a receive line in the right place. They all had to have an internal modification and a plug modification, every one of them, 500. And that was my introduction to electronics. But you know what, Phil was a great guy. He did actually offer me a job at the time. I just felt Jensen's, for a number of reasons, was the better way for me to go. I could see Jensen's going into commercial, becoming ICOM dealers, where Electric Bug was going more into the four-wheel drive market, and just a different caliber of where I wanted to go. If you said to me, who did I get on with better? All of them. They're great. They're great people. Phil Pullum, Steen Jensen, Dave Green, who obviously is my business partner for years. Noel Bernstein, who was my first service manager. So yeah, all great people. All right, hopefully this helps you if you ever have to wire up a microphone. It's some pretty basic stuff, but once again, if you haven't done it before, hopefully it helps you out. 73s from VK3 Charlie Mike. Please subscribe, hit the like button, or as people keep telling me, hit the dislike button, because that gets me something on the spectrum. I don't know, people have accused me of being on the spectrum, mainly my wife. All right guys, 25 minutes of wiring up a mic. If it takes you this long to wire up the mic, give up. All right guys, 73s, all the best.